Hola amigos, ¿qué tal? Today I'm going to start a new series. You'll be able to learn Spanish as we drive together. Different setting. I'm not in the studio where I usually film, but I'm actually on my way to my casa. I'm on my way back to my casa. Today I wanted to start this series with an interesting story which actually happened several years ago, and it highlights the importance of achieving good pronunciation and learning the difference between the letter N and the ñ in Spanish. Many years ago, I used to work for the government, and I had a 9-to-5 job in an office, and I remember this particular guy. He was a lovely amigo. His name was Phil. And I remember we used to go for walks sometimes, and we used to have lunch together. It was a really good guy. We became buddies. And he told me that before he got married, he actually traveled throughout South America, from Colombia to Chile, backpacking, and he had a lot of wonderful experiences. When he was in Chile, he wanted to go and visit a city called Valparaiso, because Valparaiso is where they have the biggest fireworks show in all of South America. So he decided to go to Valparaiso, practice his Spanish. He was having the time of his life. He loved the food, he liked the people, everybody was really friendly and hospitable. He really enjoyed it. So finally, the 31st of December comes, and he dresses up, goes with a couple of people that he met, and they, standing up at the top of this park that overlooks the entire bay of Valparaiso, where they got the ships with all the fireworks. And he's waiting for midnight, to start hugging and wishing everybody a happy new year, practicing his Spanish. So Phil was so excited. Estaba muy contento, and he wanted to see the fireworks show with his friends. So the countdown began, la cuenta final, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and all the fireworks lighting up the entire bay of Valparaiso, and people were celebrating, celebrando, cantando, gritando, abrazándose. So he started hugging some people, wishing them a happy new year in Spanish. And he said to them, Feliz Año Nuevo, Feliz Año Nuevo, Feliz Año Nuevo. He kept turning around, hugging people, Feliz Año Nuevo. And all these people would look at him in a very strange manner. He told me they had the weirdest look in their eyes. They thought, what is this guy saying? I feel he thought maybe a little bit tipsy, maybe that's why they look at me like that. And he kept wishing people a Feliz Año Nuevo. Then one of his friends, one of the guys that he went to see the fireworks with, called him out and said, hey Phil, come over here. Ven aquí un momento. Come here for a moment. Necesito decirte algo. I need to tell you something. Necesito decirte algo. Don't say Feliz Año Nuevo. And Phil was a little bit taken aback, thinking, what do you mean? I'm just wishing people, a happy new year. What's wrong with that? No, wishing them a happy new year. Do you know what you're wishing them? You're literally saying, happy new anus. Yes, you heard me right. That's exactly what Phil was telling people. Feliz Año Nuevo. In Spanish, the word ano literally means anus. So Phil didn't realize that he was actually mispronouncing the word. He should have actually said to them, Feliz Año Nuevo, instead of Feliz Ano Nuevo. He said to me that he felt so embarrassed. It was also comical. It was really gracioso, very funny. But he learned his lesson. Now he was able to understand why sometimes when he would ask people how old are you, because in Spanish we don't ask how old are you, we actually ask how many years you have. It may sound rude, inappropriate, but he actually used to ask people, how many anuses do you have? So you can imagine the surprise in his eyes when he finally realized that he'd been mispronouncing the word año all these years. I've been learning Spanish for a couple of years, and he was convinced that the word was ano. So why do I tell you this story? I tell you this story because this story highlights the importance of making sure, the importance of ensuring that we are pronouncing words properly. A single vowel, a single consonant that may be mispronounced, even though with the Spanish, which is a phonetical language, it's pretty easy to learn how to pronounce it. But sometimes we can make little mistakes, such as the one that I mentioned to you before, and it can literally convey a completely different idea. Yeah, and these stories are more frequent and more common than what you think. For example, there was another guy from the States who was living in South America, and he was working for a company which specialized in selling English courses for Spanish speakers. And part of the work that he had to do was to go door to door selling some of these courses. And this guy knocked on the door, and then a very attractive lady opened the door, and he explained to her in really good Spanish with a little bit of accent, but that doesn't really matter. And I explained to the lady what the course did and how effective it was for her to learn English. So the lady was interested, and when she asked cuánto cuesta, how much is it, he said, oh, it's 200 pesos. 200 pesos. She looked at him and she felt almost, is this guy trying to be funny with me or something? Then she realized that actually he was mispronouncing the word pesos. And she explained to him in a polite manner, you don't want to say pesos because people are going to think you're asking them for 200 kisses. So something so minor, so simple as just changing a consonant from pesos to pesos. So once again, we can see the importance of making sure that we learn correct pronunciation from the start. One of the things that I really worry about, and look, I never criticize other channels, but there are so many Spanish channels that have been created by people who they haven't mastered the language themselves, and they're teaching incorrect pronunciation to hundreds of thousands of people. There are channels, very large channels, even larger than my own channel, that have been created by people who learned the language 3 years ago, and they literally mispronouncing words and teaching people how to mispronounce words. And I just don't get it. This is why it's also very important to follow native speakers, channels of professionals, hopefully teachers, who will be able to guide you and teach you proper pronunciation. There's a lot of little details here and there that are missing in certain channels, and I worry sometimes. I think these people are learning the incorrect Spanish. All right, my amigos, it's been nice to see you.